That boys week 8 came and went, and yeah, it was all right. There's a game or two that were interesting. Favorites won. Some of us were also watching baseball. You're going to notice a couple things here. Number one, the actual NFL part. I'm a little more bearded and a little more positive. That was recorded a couple days ago. Today's the day of Game 7, and it's after the Game 7, so I'm here. I think that's enough. Every year there's one weekend where NFL almost makes it like if you're going to miss some of the games this week because you have to make Sunday plans at some point, maybe this is the one. And definitely this was the week. Now, granted, I'm a little more distracted than normal. I might be following the World Series a little bit more closely than in other years, but still, it didn't really punish me for not maybe putting my complete focus in to week 8. I mean, the NFL didn't really give us much, mostly double-digit wins. I guess you could argue a couple upsets. I mean, certainly the Jets beating the Bengals was a surprise to most people, but if you really look at that game, I mean, Breece Hall just really showed that he might be their best option at QB, and I mean, Flacco just keeps looking like, honestly, like I played Madden before it got all AI. I had like 2 players I liked and only really knew 3 plays, so I just kept running those, and he seems to be doing fine, so maybe he is a phenomenal Madden player. You could also say the other game that was a bit of a surprise, Miami and Atlanta, but I mean, Atlanta, you were starting a quarterback in Cousins that plays kind of like he dresses, so maybe you really got to hope that Penix is coming back sooner than later. The fact that Miami scored points was, I guess, pretty shocking, especially for those who've had Miami people most of the year. That was a pleasant surprise, but everything else wasn't really a surprise. I mean, I'm not going to make a joke about the Giants not having nice things because I already made that joke a few weeks ago, and Scadaboo's ankles was gross. I'm not going to make light of that one. If you have not seen it, please don't watch it. I'm not even going to put something up. I'll put up something cuter that you don't have to watch, like that ankle. You know, when someone actually says, don't worry, he's okay, his shoe's just on backwards, that's not good. That was not his shoe. But I mean, aside from that, we just got some other stories that we've been talking about for the most part for the week after week, or something that kicks us back to a previous year. Like this is about the time every year that a running back is doing so well that they talk about shouldn't they be MVP, and that came up again this week, just like it did about this time last year with Saquon Barkley. We got angry about the tush push again, although crazy enough, the tush push is supposed to be this aggressive play, but who knew it was more of a millennial play where they want all the advantages but none of the disadvantages. So we want all the yards afterwards when we get shoved forward, but if we drop the ball, it shouldn't count. I want to redo. Aside from that, we don't really have a whole lot. I mean, Love beat Angry and Bearded, but that's not really that much of a surprise either. It would have been a bigger story if it went the other way. So again, I'm pretty happy with how things went for the most part, but the week was kind of a meh. So I guess if you won, you're probably happy. And if you watched a game or two, you're probably okay. But again, if you skipped it, you're probably not hurting yourself. I don't think we have the same thing coming up in week 9, though. We got some matchups I'm a lot more excited about. Although I'm still going to be distracted about the World Series, it looks like. But anyway, let's look at our scores first. I'll try and stay focused and not think about the Blue Jays, and then we'll get to Week 9. Every year about this time, some team hits a bit of a run. Now, it's too early to call, but Ben, is this going to be the year that he goes for a little bit of a jog at the end? He certainly picked up a few people here. Now, it could have just been good weeks, but let's check it out. RB4 in Hall, got to be pretty happy with that. Wide receiver 3 in Pittman, happy with everything that's pretty much going on there. He's got Wood here as the tight end 3 as well. Kicker 3, defense 2. I mean, that doesn't sound exceptional. It's good for sure, and 150 is amazing, so why am I so impressed? This was supposed to be Ben's off week. This was Commando in the basement. He's got nothing, and yet he still puts off a victory. So I'm just saying, you got to watch. I would imagine at the start of the year when Ben looked at this week, he's like, I'm going to give it up. He didn't give it up. He took it down and had the number 1 overall. Now, Horst, unfortunately, you did go just over your predicteds, but your predicteds were pretty crappy, and you had some bad wide receiver output. Now, your running backs were just fine. You had 2 tight ends, not necessarily the situation you were looking for, but in this case, 2 good tight ends, and Dallas got you a tight end 3 spot. Didn't need that performance from Washington's kicker, but your defense was the defense 4. So this actually had multiple defensive battles here. You would have beaten at least one person I can think of, but that was about it. Unfortunately, with your wide receivers and the fact that you had to go Cousins, Neat so good there, Horst. Sorry, buddy. But Ben, looking great. I don't know. Is this the start of the run? The middle of the run? How far are you going to go, buddy? Speaking of the person that I imagine Horst was going to beat, yowzers. Don't even want to talk about it. Now, the Drake London one, fair enough. When I went to bed, it was okay. He was playing, and then crappy thing about being international. Yeah, everything else is just crappy. Jake, though, well done, buddy. Running back 3 in Barkley. Sorry about breaking the foot here. That was nasty. And tight end 1. And I think he actually took over the tight end 1 spot. I have to double check. Because, Jake, I don't know if you realize this, but you didn't get any points this week as an actual tight end. Taking a look at our bench. Yeah, I made some mistakes. But, yep, so did you. So, hey, you know what? Wouldn't have helped me, and you were crushing it anyway. So I might as well make you feel good by winning by an 80 spot and over doubling me. Kind of overkill, don't you think, Jake? In what might prove to be a fairly important one, because Will was right in the hunt here, and now he's got a little bit of a tie situation. Waylon held strong, 7-1, looking pretty good, just the one little blemish. Did it without his quarterback pretty much, but his running back's still there, at least the one that counts. Well done on your RB1 on the year, on the week, on life right now. Swift, Neek's so good, so we'll see what your basement already has. Wide receiver 2 in Rice, got to be lucky, or not lucky, sorry, happy that he came back. Not luck, you've been sitting on him for a bit. Now you do have some running back depth, so maybe not sweating it too much. V, from your side, you did go over your predicted. Jalen Hurts. Actually, if you look at you and on the bench, you had 2 quarterbacks in the top 5. Herbert was 4, Hurts was 3, so you started the right one. Your wide receivers weren't great. Your running backs were okay, although you took the wrong Denver running back. The other one was in the top 5. I don't know if we'll talk about him in a minute or not, but your defense, you took the defense 3. That's not fair. Going against Cleveland. Come on, man. Have some empathy. Either way, you're both technically in the playoffs if it ended today, but we'll check out the standings to see how that looks. After talking about Waylon, now we will talk about the Waylons. Both were successful this week, so well done, Justin. We're seeing this 5-3 pop up. Wonder if we're going to talk about that later. Flacco, I mean, and we know that he's got a bit of a tweak. We're not really sure how he's going to go next week, but he was the quarterback 5. You also had some running back kind of double hit here. The Denver running back I was talking about, he was number 5. The other one, the one that caught the passes, James Cook, though, legit there, number 2. And that was pretty much enough. I mean, B, you hit your prediction. You seem to be around this point. You're just doing what you should. Sometimes it wins you, sometimes it doesn't. Although the tight end pickup was a big one. He was the tight end 4. Although you were in a very Ben-like situation, kind of an unfurnished basement here. Now, between injuries and buys, neither one of you really had a whole lot going on. So pretty much no decisions were made, and these were the scores. So I guess there's something to be said in that. Okay, this one's my bad. I told Mark to pay attention. Now he is, and apparently he's winning. At least he didn't just beat me. Sorry, Chaz, I kind of cost you on that one, buddy. Now, I did, but also so did Atlanta by just coming up and putting up a stinker, because your 2 running backs here should have done you a little bit better than that. And you run with the Bears, and Baltimore's defense has been crap for most people, but apparently not crap for you. You did make one mistake here. You had the wide receiver 4 on your bench, so wah wah. Of course, Mark had the QB 2 on his bench, so I guess you guys just made a deal to shoot down the middle here. You also had the kicker 1, so hey, you got that going for you, Mark. Tight end and running backs didn't do a whole lot, but I wouldn't imagine, well, Stevenson being out. Jacob's been pretty consistent. Now we're going to actually see. Are you paying attention? Are you going to take people out? You going to put JSN back in? Guess we'll see, pal. Told you we'd look at the standings, so I'm sitting right now at 500, and that's good enough to be in, but just barely, and there's some people right behind. The 5-3 Enigma, that's 2 through 5, so if it stood today, it would come down to how many points you scored in terms of who you're playing and who's getting the bye, so that's pretty interesting, but we know the next couple weeks, as I said, 1 or 2 teams are going to go on a run, 1 or 2 teams are going to go for a slide, so see how everyone fares after a couple weeks. Well into our back 9, and now it actually is going into week 9, which makes slightly more sense. We got a few weeks left of the regular season. Can't say it enough here. Every week's obviously going to matter, not just in matchups, but also in points. So best of luck in week 9, crew.